The minds of the masses are being perpetually subliminally programmed. People are easily manipulated when they're unaware of what's being done to them. Case, point, and proof. The reason why shopping in Publix grocery stores appears as being more upscale than when shopping in a Kroger's or a Pantry Pride grocery store is because Publix uses brighter ambient lightings within their stores. The brighter lights makes the Publix appear more pristine and upscale, while making places like Kroger's or Winn-Dixie appear dingy in comparison. Consumers are then willing to pay more for the merchandises at Publix. Likewise, the reason why when you walk from inside a Walmart into a Target store, the Target appears much more upscale is because of the brighter lightings, the wider aisles, and red strips painted along the floor and the wall. Those noted differences within Targets makes the shopping experiences at Target appears more upscale. And again, the consumers are then willing to pay more for the product of the same value that you'll get in Walmart. People are easily manipulated when they're unaware of what's being done to them. There's even more. You know, whenever you take your car into a dealership to be used as a trade-in on a new car, that they rarely just take your keys and conduct the appraisal without you. You notice that they never just take your vehicle and do the appraisal. They instead always insist that you accompany them as they do the appraisal of your vehicle. Have you ever noticed that? It's because during the appraisal process, they walk around your car pointing out dings, scratches, damages, and imperfection within the painted surface. What they're doing actually is they're subconsciously devaluing your car within your subconscious mind. It makes you accept the lower trade-in offer than you originally intended for. The ruling class has developed many systems for subliminally manipulating, controlling, and steering the collective minds of the masses. These same methods of subliminal programming are also used to steer a society towards an applied objective. And it's also used to create social norms within a society that serve the interests of the dominant population. Case, point, and proof. Have you ever considered just how cartoonishly unrealistic it actually is that all narratives that we receive about the white dominant society are consistently positive, while to the contrary, all narratives that we receive about our racial group are consistently negative? The absurdity within these two scenarios are so obviously ridiculous that it's only by not critically thinking that it cannot be seen. The reason why we exist under these two cartoonishly unrealistic scenarios is because all societies function based upon the narratives that are repetitively fed into society. And the narratives that are repetitively fed into the white dominant society are deliberately distorted to keep the society functioning in ways that aids in maintaining white social dominance and white social capital over the black population. It's a social engineering science. More specifically, the reason why all narratives that we receive about the white population are consistently positive and exalting of themselves is because doing so conveys a subliminal message that they are inherently superior and that they represent the standard by which we should all aspire to be more alike. It's the true reason why millions of black people are now saying that we should try to be more like Caucasians in spite of such a brutally horrific history of the contrary. White social scientists describes what they've done to us as merely instilling a value system into the collective minds of the black population that makes us more compliant with white dominance over our lives. The subliminal programming is in fact so effective that in many cases, It makes many of us even prefer white dominance over our lives. Now, here's the true reason why virtually all narratives about black people are consistently negative and black racially devaluing. The reason why virtually all narratives about black people are consistently negative is because doing so is necessary to facilitate the white society's long-term oppression and subjugation of black people. More specifically, they dehumanize us to make others insensitive to our plight. They also vilify us to falsely validate their mistreatments of us. It's how they manufacture societal consent for their mistreatment of us. That propaganda campaign made our skin color appear as being weapons. It's why white cops can routinely kill us even while we're unarmed and avoid being prosecuted by merely saying that they were in fear of losing their lives. Our skin color has been made the weapon. We are always armed because of our skin color. They also distort all of their statistics and study results to favor themselves over us. This conveys a subliminal message and creates the perception that they are inherently superior to us. Once a false belief has been successfully embedded into a society, particularly into the human mind, people will then only notice those incidents that appears to endorse the false embedded belief and will then become psychologically blinded from seeing the greater overwhelming amount of evidence that refutes the false embedded belief. Then based upon this psychological blindness, many will insist that they've seen it for themselves, that they've confirmed that the false embedded belief is true, although it is in fact absolutely not. Once the false beliefs that whites are inherently superior to blacks becomes a prevailing belief within a society, this creates false assumptions within the society that directly and indirectly affects employment practices, hiring practices, firing, retention, and promotion practices in ways that greatly aids in maintaining white social dominance and white social capital over the black population. And last, but certainly not least, the reason why they keep our narratives negatives is because doing so makes us much more easier to control. They constantly inundate us with fraudulent negative narratives about ourselves because doing so demoralizes us, divides us, creates black self-loathing, and shifts black collective aggressions away from the white society and redirects it against ourselves. When the oppressed are much easier to control when we are divided and made self-loathing. Furthermore, doing so attacks the core foundation of what bonds us as a people, and we can then be ruled over forever. Then, to further add insult to injury, they conditioned millions of black people to exclude our oppressors from all of our analysis regarding our plight and condition, and to instead blame ourselves. As long as they keep us within this collective condition, they can then rule over us forever. Our core problem is that we've been brainwashed to seek the external validation of the very same people that are seeking to damage us. Those among us that are ignorant insist that our plight is the result of a biblical fairy tale, and that our collective condition is a result of a silly slave syndrome myth. Whenever people are kept ignorant and misinformed, they'll always believe nonsense that insults their own intelligence. Brothers and sisters, the time of believing in dumb shit has now passed. When we assign our real life oppression onto a biblical fairy tale and an urban myth, we are in fact making damn fools of ourselves. This is the damn truth. A speaker of truth has no friends, African proverb. And those who know the truth must teach, also an African proverb. Brothers and sisters, time to wake up. I speak for those who are ready to learn the truth. We must function based on what is true, because if our understandings remain flawed, then all of our liberating strategies that stems from those false misunderstandings will also be flawed. We must function based on what is true, so therefore we can develop the proper counter strategies that are necessary in order to liberate ourselves. That's why those of us who know the truth must continue to tell the truth. Brothers and sisters, it's time to wake up. One love and peace.